Hey everyone, Andrew, Day 2 Dryden, recording here for the first time for Day 2 MTG on YouTube. So we've separated from Nikachu MTG. If you still like watching cool merfolk content and things like that, still do make sure to subscribe and check out that channel. But now this is burn content. This is the aggro content you've all been enjoying as well. Day 2 MTG. Make sure to like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel because we're just getting off the ground here. So for those of you who might not be familiar, maybe this is your first time watching the channel. Well, I guess this is the first time anyone would be watching this specific channel. But any of my content, we're going to focus mostly on modern Magic content. We might dip into Pauper and Legacy, things like that too. And we're going to focus primarily on modern Burn, but we're also going to talk about Phoenix, Mono Red Phoenix, maybe is it Phoenix? Basically, if there's a deck with 4 lightning bolts in it, there's a chance I'll play it. But this is going to be sort of, I think, the majority of what we focus on here. This is a deck that I kind of enjoy, and it's a few years now I've been playing this. It's starting to get up there. I think over 3 now. So either way, welcome to the channel. Even if you're a longtime viewer, because we've got a new address on the internet here. So this deck list is pretty similar because it was only a couple weeks ago that I recorded my last video for Nikachu. So this is pretty similar. I think the only change I've made, I think, is a couple of Anger of the Gods in the sideboard. So we're going to go through this real quickly. This is sort of how I would build the new red-white modern mana base. I think you want 4 fetch lands. Excuse me. I think you want 4 fetch lands. It doesn't matter sort of what mix they are. Here I have them all evenly split up among the 4 that can fetch mountains. Technically, diversifying is better, whether it's something like Pithing Needle or Sorcerer's Spyglass, cards that are being played again in Modern. So to be able to mix up, which lands have which activated abilities or whatever, that is technically better. Although, if you have budget concerns, it's certainly fine to just go with like 4 Wooded Foothills and 4 Bloodstained Mires. That's a very playable version as well. So we've got the 8 fetch lands, leaving us. I want to go up to 20 lands now. Burn used to run 20 lands all the time. We started going down to like 18, 19 the last while, trying to like really cheat, try to run those higher risks. But 20 is really great for hitting your second mana and being able to curve out. So I like 20. So after the 8 fetch lands, we've got 12 more slots. 3 of them are these Inspiring Vantages. You could go with 4 Inspiring Vantage if you wanted, and maybe like 7 fetch lands. But I still like running the full 8. Especially because I've got still 3 copies of Searing Blaze. So that leaves you not a lot of room left to play with. You've got 2 Sacred Foundries, 3 Basic Mountains, and then this is the newest addition, 4 Sun-Baked Canyons. This has been the big shift in the last month and a half in the modern Burn mana bases. This card's fantastic. This card is absolutely fantastic. I have been able to keep hands with maybe like 4 lands in them because 1 or 2 of them were Sun-Baked Canyons. So I knew, okay, if I draw a couple more lands, these, hopefully you don't just lose on turn 2 or 3 to a combo deck. Yeah, that's always a risk as well. But knowing like late game, knowing that if I start flooding out, these can relatively easily turn into, fresh draw steps. So that's really nice. And it just gives you that little bit of extra reach when you're trying to dig. There's also been a lot of times where I've been able to sacrifice a Sun-Baked Canyon, leaving me with only 2 lands in play, and then play the Inspiring Vantage untapped for the turn, which is also fantastic. It's happened a lot, actually. So yeah, this is the big thing. If you're not running Sun-Baked Canyons yet, I know they're new and I know they're expensive in paper, but I think if you want to run the optimal red-white mana base, I really truly feel that you need 4 copies, if not like 5 copies of maybe fiery islets or something in there as well. So that's that. Outside of that, we've got our 1-drops. The big things we want to see in our opening hands are Goblin Guides and Swift Spears. Great turn 1 plays. Get the beat down going. Right, these will start to get better and better over turns. If they come out early, and they become generally worse and worse top decks, right? Generally, you want to open up with Goblin Guides, and you want to finish off with Lightning Bolts. That's how that works. In addition to those, though, yeah, like I said, we have the Lightning Bolts, 3 damage, 1 mana, instant speed, any target. It is the standard for how every single burn spell gets measured up against. So, like, where is this in relation to Lightning Bolts? For example, Lava Spikes. Still 3 damage, still 1 mana, however, only sorcery speed, and can only target players or planeswalkers. So that's kind of how that works. But still very good for getting our game plan going and what we are generally trying to make our main focus, which is get the opponent from 20 life points to 0. We've got a few more interesting slots in our 2 mana slots. Sort of tripping over my tongue here a bit, sorry. The biggest one of which is Eidolon of the Great Revel. On the play against certain matchups, this can just shut the door against Storm, against Mono Red Phoenix, most of the Phoenix lists, in fact. Anything like that, if they're going to start just spinning their wheels, they're largely going to end up just killing themselves for us, and this card can single-handedly run away with the game if left unchecked. There's been a few developments with life gain and things like that lately, so I'm back to 2 copies of Skullcrack in the main deck. The other reason for this is that in the matchups where you do want this, I kind of do want 4 copies, and being able to fit 4 copies of this in the sideboard makes it a little bit difficult to find the other cards, that I want. So for that reason, this is a main deckable card. 2 copies of it I've got in the sideboard right now, and 2 copies in the main deck, so still very good. Searing Blaze, great against small creature matchups. Just outstanding. Not only does it remove their board presence and what they're trying to get going, it also deals damage to them. So it's almost a form of like red card advantage. It's absolutely fantastic. Boros Charm has a lot of text on it, but the most common use for it is instant speed, 4 damage to target opponent or target player or planeswalker technically. But at instant speed for 2 mana, 4 damage is about as good as it can possibly get. Similar is Lightning Helix. It deals 3 damage, but in racing situations, it is absolutely fantastic because it also gains you life. So in the mirror, in any kind of racing situation where the opponent's trying to just beat you down with creatures or another aggro deck, this can almost be like another form of red card advantage where you're simultaneously dealing damage to the opponent, which gets your game going, and gaining life, which prevents their game plan, and maybe can even buy an extra turn or 2. You can finish them off. Rift Bolts are sort of another honorary lightning bolt in a way. It costs 1 mana as well, but it does take a turn for that to happen. However, in a pinch, if you've got the opponent just on the ropes and you're ready to finish the game off, you can also cast it for 3 mana, so that's sort of a nice upside. The other thing about this that's really great is it gets around Chalice of the Void, which is becoming a very popular modern card again. Yes, you're putting 1 mana into it, but technically the converted mana cost is 3, so it does get around Chalice of the Void on 1. Similar with Skewer the Critics. Again, you can cast it for 1 mana under the right circumstances if the opponent has lost life this turn, or whichever turn you're talking about. But again, converted mana cost is 3, gets around Chalice of the Void. It's another sort of honorary lightning bolt, so fantastic. In the sideboard, we have a few different things we want to deal with. There are some creatures that we simply can't answer with our just red cards. Whether they have protection from red, maybe they have large amounts of power and toughness, things like that. So Path to Exile, absolute great. It's a necessary evil. We don't like to ramp our opponent, but for 1 mana, being able to exile, any problematic creature they have is almost a necessity in Modern right now. Well, in Modern for almost all time. Rest in Peace. There's a lot of busted graveyard decks running around. Rest in Peace isn't always the best answer, but it does do a lot of things against Tarmogoyf, against any Dredge decks, things like that. Graveyard decks pretty much need to have an answer for this if you can get it down early enough. I really like this card. This is a new addition, Fry. It's very similar to Rending Volley, which is something we were using not too long ago when Is It Phoenix was very popular. However, the fact that Fry, it costs 1 more mana. However, it deals 5 damage, which is a big deal against things like, I think it's Baneslayer Angel. There are certain high toughness haymaker cards that things like blue-white control will use that actually have 5 toughness. So 5 damage is a big deal as well. This can hit planeswalkers. So if they go, Teferi, give it more loyalty, you can still untap and deal with that Teferi in a way that they can't counter. So it's quite nice. This is also great against humans, other creature decks like that can sometimes actually outrace you and out aggro you. So very good card. Yeah, in the right circumstances, this card is absolutely fantastic. I wish I had more sideboard slots for more copies, but it's a nice tool to have at your disposal. I really like having 1 copy right now. Again, I mentioned the Skullcracks earlier, Smash the Smithereens. I mentioned Chalice of the Void. There's also Tron and a lot of other problematic artifacts in Modern right now. So this is probably one of the... If you're not going to deal with enchantments and run green for things like Destructive Revelry, this is an absolutely fantastic card. 2 mana, instant speed, destroys artifacts, and deals 3 damage to the opponent. You can't do much better than that. Anger of the Gods is a new card. It's a new card for my lists. I haven't run this card very many times in the past, but with Dredge and Hogaak and things like that running around, being able to wipe the board and exile things like Prized Amalgams, Bloodghasts, Grave Crawlers, anything like that is absolutely fantastic. As well, it has some use against humans and other creature decks. So yeah, generally a pretty good card, and it's one of the only things that can bring you back from a Dredge deck that's already gone bananas and spit their hand all over the board. Last but not least, we've got one more sort of, card against graveyard decks. Relic of Progenitus. I could run something like a 3rd copy of Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace is a stronger card, but it costs more, harder to get out. And on top of that, if I was going to have a 3rd copy, if I bring these in against things like Dredge and I draw multiple copies, I would rather be able to turn one of those sideboard cards that I've drawn into a new card, and I can do that with Relic of Progenitus. Whether I draw a Rest in Peace first or a Relic of Progenitus first or second, I can turn the Relic into a new card and try to finish the game off with some of these burn spells. So those are sort of the main reasons for my card choices. But there's a lot of play right now to sideboards and what you want to sideboard against in Modern. This is generally a... when you're playing online, it's hard to guess what you're going to play against. So I try to have very versatile sideboards in local metagames. If you know there's going to be a Merfolk or a Humans or a Dredge player, if you know that every Friday night you're going to see those same players and you're going to be in those winners brackets, come the end of the night, you might want to retail your sideboard. But this is generally a basic, versatile sideboard and deck list that I think is still really strong. So if this is your first time watching the channel, again, Day 2 Dryden, welcome aboard. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in round 1. So, we're in round 1, and we are on the play, and this hand is absolutely fantastic. We have a turn 1 Goblin Guide, which is absolutely the best turn 1 play we can make, just sort of in the blind against an unknown opponent. And then we even have a follow-up with Eidolon of the Great Revel. Fantastic hand. Hey, we could certainly get run over. I don't know what we're up against, but Goblin Guide on the play, just great. Big fan. So let's see what we're up against. Ooh, Infect. Okay. Infect we generally have a pretty good matchup against because we run so much main board removal, and we can bring things in from the sideboard as well. We have a very poor hand against Infect right now, though. I should mention that. The one nice thing is that our life total doesn't matter, so we are going to be able to slam this Eidolon of the Great Revel next turn. Noble Hierarch's a strong draw, or a strong turn 1 play for them. How do I put this? I'm glad I didn't, because I don't have any removal or anything, I'm glad I didn't see an Infect creature on turn 1. However, a Noble Hierarch is a card that's going to both allow them to attack and get more damage, more poison counters in because of the Exalted triggers, as well as it's going to sort of ramp them up, and they'll, we're an aggro deck, but they're more aggro. They are the beatdown, generally speaking, in this matchup. So We still, yeah, so like I'm not on blocking duty. They're not going to be able to attack in next turn. I mean, they could attack with a Hierarch, I guess, but I don't see that happening. So let's see what else is on the way here. Might of Old Crows. Okay, so yeah, they're gonna have cards in hand. The other nice thing about here, you know what? We don't have to worry about our life total against Infect. So let's just get this out of the way. Here, let's do this now. So let's thin our deck. Let's get the Sacred Foundry and let's get this Eidolon down. The nice thing about Eidolon is that they're probably going to have to resolve 5 spells or so to beat us, which means if they don't have an answer for this Eidolon, Eidolon's probably going to deal them somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 damage, which puts them, again, assuming we don't... Oh, that's not good. We need an answer to that. That's not good. Because we can't block that card. For those of you who might not know, Blighted Agent is a 1/1 with Infect, and the problem with it, though, is that it can't be blocked. So... since we don't have any removal in hand, and here, what do they have? We know they have a Groundswell, which gives target. So yeah, okay, so they can fetch and then use this. This is also, yeah, this won't protect it by itself, so that's good to know. Okay, so we really want to draw a Bolt or something that can deal with this Blighted Agent, and we're just not getting there. So we can't block anyway. So I guess we're attacking in. And how do we want to do this? Do I want to bluff? No, let's... yeah. Okay, well, we finally drew them a land. Can't block anyway, so we might as well get in. We can't really bluff. How do I want to do this? Let's do it this way. Okay. Oh, that was a mistake. I was trying to play cute and sort of bluff like I might have a removal spell, and the more mana I have open, the more that looks like that. But they still need to cast a few spells. So oh, that was horrible. I should have put them to 6 life, meaning they only get to cast 3 spells. Yeah, they're gonna... well, okay, let's see how this goes. Because I can still Skullcrack them, but I could have put them so that they're at 4 right now. But this is not... yeah, so I could hypothetically kill them right now had I cast this Lava Spike. They're going to go for it. Brutal! Absolutely brutal, Andrew. You got too cute. Okay, well, that was an example of, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's because I could make an argument like I was talking to the camera, but that was horrible. Okay, so before anyone goes in the comment section and loses their mind on me, yes, that was absolutely horrible. I should have cast Lava Spike. They wouldn't have been able to cast enough spells this turn, likely, to kill me, right? Like, if they had to do something like this, I could have Skullcracked in response before damage, but because I didn't have a Boros Charm specifically, yeah, that was horrible. I mean, we kind of flooded out a little bit, but that was still absolutely horrible. Oh, that's frustrating. Okay, so I actually do have a sideboard guide ready to go here. Did I make one for Infect? I might not have. Infect is not seeing a ton of play right now. No. Okay, so I'm going to bring in Smash the Smithereens, at least 3 copies. Ink Moth Nexus as well as Spellskite are the reasons for that. I'm going to take out Lava Spike, couple Lava Spikes, couple Boros Charms. We want Path to Exiles. I could bring in Anger too. I don't need them. Skullcracks we don't need. Skullcracks are bad. Skullcracks are bad. They don't deal... the reason they're bad is because they don't deal with the board, right? Boros Charms can't target creatures. Skullcracks can't target creatures. Fry is good against just Blighted Agent. The fact that it can't be countered and it's 5 damage is pretty good, though. I will say that. Maybe we want to bring that in. Maybe. Maybe Anger of the Gods. Maybe Anger of the Gods. What else do I not love? I don't mind having a couple Lava Spikes, but they're not great. That's really unfortunate we lost that game. I should have won that game. I totally misplayed. Got to shake that off though. Shake it off. It's only going to be on the internet for everyone to see for forever. This is why I like making sideboard guides ahead of time too. I don't have to really think about these things too much. Well, I have to cut one more card. Maybe I don't need 3 copies of Smash. And do I want an Anger of the Gods? On the play, maybe. Okay, I'll take out one more Boros Charm, add one more Anger. Let's go with that. I might switch that around on the draw when I'm going to be 1 turn behind. Yes, I would like to play this. It's so frustrating to lose a game against Infect when you actually had it. This hand is... You know what? This is a good control hand. Again, we are the control a little bit. I've got a Sunbaked Canyon, which can draw me a new card. I have a turn 1 Bolt, and I have an Eidolon to start, sort of keeping the board clear while also having them take damage. So this hand isn't amazing. It's a little land heavy, but because of the Sunbaked Canyon and off the strength of an Eidolon on the play, I think I will keep this hand. Lead off with Inspiring Vantage. Pass turn. So if they play like a Noble Hierarch on turn 1, I will absolutely bolt it. Oh, that's a neat... I haven't seen this card before. Well, I have, but it's not in this matchup. So basically, it's going to protect other stuff. And just for using my mana efficiently, yeah, we'll get rid of that. Sure. That's worth getting rid of. That's a pretty good card, but again, our life total does not matter in this matchup. I don't really want to see this yet without a target, so hopefully they just untap and put a Spellskite out next turn, or they drop an Inkmoth Nexus here. Hey, okay. So, I mean, we're not amazing just yet, but that's one of the reasons this card is in this matchup. Goblin Guide is a great draw. Goblin Guide is a great draw. So how do I want to do this? Let's go like this. We definitely want to... We can't leave them too much... Well, I can't block anyway. This thing has flying. I was going to say, maybe you want to be a little conservative, but Inkmoth Nexus turns into a creature with flying, so I can't block anyway. So we might as well attack in. And we definitely path this. Yeah, sure. That's fine. Ramp me all you want. But yeah, they know that that creature has to go away, and they are correct. And now we're just going to hold up interaction. They keep hitting land drops. That makes me a bit nervous. One of the other nice things about Smash the Smithereens is that it doesn't care about power and toughness. So if they like use a few pump spells, as long as they don't give it hexproof, Smash the Smithereens can destroy, can destroy an Inkmoth Nexus no matter how strong it gets. I will use this opportunity to try and kill one of these. If they want to use a counter spell or a pump spell or something to save it right now, they can do that. That's fine. Sure. Sure. That's also a pretty good draw. Three cards in hand. So I have a few options. I can play the Swift Spear, attack with both. I can play the Swift Spear, attack with one. I should probably leave at least one creature back. I could leave a creature back to block the Glistener Elf, is what I'm debating. I also have the option to crack a Sunbaked Canyon. See what I draw. But I might want to do that at instant speed on their turn. I'm definitely attacking with the Goblin Guide. I'm just not sure if I'm attacking with the Swift Spear or not. Yeah, let's attack with the Goblin Guide and leave the Swift Spear back. That's really frustrating. Hopefully we go to game 3 so I can like try and somewhat... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, game 1. That was 100% a talking to the camera mistake. Went to my attack step. They didn't click through it right away. Started talking to the camera, wasn't paying attention. Clicked through my attack step without attacking with the Goblin Guide. Yeah, that is 100% what happened there. So, rough start to our maiden voyage on this channel. Well, hopefully we can prove that this is in fact a decent matchup. And even though we spot them a game and spot them an attack step, we're able to come through here. But one of the things to keep in mind is if you can avoid tapping out before damage, it's convenient. Like if you have to force them to choose between like going all in on their creature and risking it being removed, that's good. Like right now, right? If I choose to just use this Smash of Smithereens right now, if they don't tap out, right? Like maybe I should have thought about it more. Okay, see, now this is fantastic. See, now what I can do, they've tapped out, so they could still, no, they only have one card in hand, so they can't save this creature anymore. Right, so like if I had done this before, or if they had attacked and like, you know, we had, before going to damage or something like that. Now this is a sorcery, so that can't quite happen. Yeah, let's do it this way. They can respond back by making it unblocked. And I think this doesn't get rebound because the legal target is gone. So I think that just went really well for us. And now they can't attack in here either. I have a lot of mana. I could crack this right now, but hypothetically the possibility of drawing a Searing Blaze means I'll want a land to come into play. And that's pretty good. That is that lethal? 3, 4, 5... No, that's not lethal yet. However, let's see if we can draw a card. That's strong. So they're going to have 2 cards. I'm at 0 poison. Yeah, they can't. I don't think they can win from here. In fact, do I just want to destroy this creature? They've got 1 card in hand. Yeah, no. We're just going to hit them in the face. I don't think with only 2 cards in hand, I don't think they can make this Glistener Elf big enough. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. They could. hypothetically, they could go scale up into like Might of Old Crozar or something. But if Blighted Agent is the card they're going to draw next turn, then that's no. Then they can't win from here. Yeah. Okay, so even though we spotted them game and missed an attack step, we still were able to get through that, thankfully. And that Anger of the Gods showed up at the absolute worst time. So I think that's not what we want when we're on the draw. That Smash Smithereens was really great. They know we've got it now, so maybe they might try to play around it. I think they'll still probably bring in Spell Skites. But there's nothing else I really... one more Boros Charm is about the only thing I could maybe want, or another Smash to Smithereens. Because we need to answer their permanents. Maybe an Anger's okay still. Maybe an Anger's still okay on the... It just gets answered potentially so easily. Not till turn 3. You know what? What the heck? Let's just leave it in. Yeah, let's leave it in. I think that's fine. Okay, come on. Let's get a win here. Even through my punts. We got through a punt in game 2. Punt cost us in game 1. On the bright side, I saw my mistake. There's a fellow I follow on Twitter, and I think he writes for Channel Fireball as well. His name is Will Jonathan. You can look him up if you want. I'd recommend it. He has a book called, I think it's Mental Mana. I forget what the title is. But basically it's about the mental aspect to the game of Magic, and I think there's a lot of other applications as well in sports and things like that. But he basically talks about, sports psychology, competitive game psychology, things like that. So highly recommend checking him out. This hand is great. We have 2 interaction spells, 3 if you count the Anger of the Gods, although that's pretty far away. And we even have a turn 1 play with the Goblin Guide. So if they don't open with anything super crazy on turn 1, like if they go like Noble Hierarch, I'm going to have to bolt it, I think. Unfortunately, but I mean, whatever, it is what it is. On the bright side, they're fetching and shocking, so they're doing some of the work for us. Yep, Noble Hierarch goes away. Is absolutely what's going to happen. Let's start with the Inspiring Vantage. Yeah. On turn, I don't know, 5 or 6, a Noble Hierarch I might not bolt on turn 1, so they get 3 mana on turn 2, and then can start maybe getting in with Exalted triggers and things like that. No, absolutely, that needs to go away. This is really annoying to see. This is really, really annoying to see. It basically becomes a like a 1 mana protection spell, which is really frustrating. Although we're doing a great job with all of these. I'm going to pretend like I have interaction, and I'm absolutely going to shock here. They can... Oh, actually, I shouldn't say pretend. I do have a Path to Exile, but... Yeah. Hey, it didn't click through my attack step that time. We drew them a Verdant Catacombs. Okay. So, yeah. So, basically, any other 1/1 creatures, so Glistener Elf, Bladed Agent, and Inkmoth Nexus can all become 2/3 creatures with a Pendlehaven. Oh, okay, playing a Dryad Arbor. That's another one too. Yep. And now we are going to hold up. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's a good draw. So we're going to play control here now. We're going to attack in. We're just going to play control. Okay, well, I really wish we would stop drawing them cards. Top decking lands would be nice. I have multiple pieces of interaction. If you're going to do this, I'll do this. Maybe I should have done this first. Yeah, I should have done this first, actually. That was silly. Because they were obviously leaving it back to block. I wasn't thinking this through. That was a misplay. I'm I am not playing a tight game of Magic. Absolutely not. This is a very sloppy game. This is a very sloppy round of Magic. Do me a favor. Watch at least one more video before you never watch this channel again. Yeah, sure, Blighted Agent. If they ever fetch with this thing, I am just gonna... Actually, you know what? Let's Helix this right now. Just get this out of the way. Sure, fetch and shock. Take damage. Sure. That's a good draw. They have 5 cards in hand. One of which is a Verdant Catacombs. I think I have to be a little aggressive here. Another Ink Moth. Okay. What this will do is force them to have to use 2 mutagenic growths, I think, if they have those. And they don't. Okay, yeah. None of their Infect creatures have haste, which is nice. You can kind of play around that a little bit. There's the Verdant Catacombs. Still have 5 cards in hand. Blighted Agent, down to 4 cards in hand. That's a good draw. Oh wait, hold on. Another Blighted Agent. Okay, so let's see if I make the same. Let's try to avoid making the exact same mistake I made with the Dryad Arbor. Because what I did before was let them block and then use the removal spell. So let's try to avoid making that exact same mistake. And if I were thinking ahead like that, I actually should have played the Eidolon first, so that if they do counter something, they actually take 2 damage. This is another botched turn. This is just very sloppy play. Very, very sloppy. Okay, so... yeah, this is very sloppy. Yeah, this is what I should have done was play the Eidolon, attack, and then use the Path to Exile. Yeah, this is bad. Bad. So do I do this? So yeah, so do I use this path now, or do I let them block and use the Pendlehaven? No, I think I just get rid of it. I think I just get this path out of the way right now. Yeah, just get the Prowess trigger. Yeah, this could go... The one thing about this is that if this does resolve, they do have to use spells. They do have to get spells out of their hand. Okay, and they don't. So that's okay. So they go to 4. I play the Eidolon. And then they basically are shut out of the game. Because they pretty much can't cast spells anymore. They get to cast 2 more spells. One of which needs to be this Blighted Agent or a different spell. Yeah. Okay, so... So, again, a little bit... Very sloppy play. However, I did point out the mistakes. So if you're looking to sort of learn and like pick up on what mistakes you might be making, I need to get better at talking to the camera. I'm obviously a little out of practice with that. And hopefully I explained the reasons for those mistakes. So if you want to talk about any additional mistakes I didn't mention, Definitely willing to discuss lines of play, things like that. But yeah, that was a sloppy game of Magic. So either way, you know what? Not everybody. I don't know. Maiden voyages aren't always the smoothest sailing. So this is proof of that. And hey, they don't ask. I think it's a Wayne Gretzky line. They don't ask how, they ask how many. Well, we are 1-0 so far on this channel with Modern Burn. That's definitely a something to be happy about. Many more wins in our future. This has been Andrew, Day 2 Dryden, recording for Day 2 MTG. Stay tuned, keep in touch, and we're going to go into our next round with our Modern Burn in our Modern League. All right, we are on the draw, unfortunately, in this round. However, this hand is, again, fantastic. 3 lands, all the colors we need. Swift Spear into Eidolon. Loving it. Big fan. We even have a Bolts on turn 1 if we need to kill a problematic... Actually, we have 2 Bolts. If we need to kill any problematic creatures or anything like that on turn 1. So our opponent our opponent mulliganed down to 5 cards. Okay, so I don't know what we're up against, but okay. Well, this might be Jund or something. The Verdant Catacombs. Overgrown Tomb. Okay, looking like Jund or Rock. Well, them going down. Nope. It's Hogaak. Well, Hogaak or Dredge. Not sure which one yet. Okay, well, hopefully it's Dredge. Although I don't think they play Marsh Flats. No, this is probably Hogaak. If this were... Either way, that's pretty bad. They didn't hit a single Bloodghast. They didn't hit anything like that. So, yeah, that's fantastic. The problem is if I kill this thing, bad things happen again. If I just attack in, they just block. So, I think... So what's Hogaak going to do? What's a turn 2 play? They can go like... The problem is Altar of Dementia, things like that. Or no, sorry. Yeah. So I think what we do is we just play the Swift Spear and we don't attack, I think is unfortunately the plan. Because they just block, they get more stuff in their graveyard, then there's like a turn 2 Hogaak I got to deal with possibly. Yeah, I think I just... pass for the time being. I think this Eidolon's also going to be pretty not great. Yeah, Eidolon's going to be pretty not great. Oh, God. Oh, wait, Hogaak actually does need to Convoke. I didn't think that totally through. So if I had attacked in, this just probably would have blocked. So they would have had a whole bunch of stuff in their graveyard. But now okay, so I'm not playing around the things I'm saying I'm gonna play around. Hogaak's still a new card that I haven't really played against before. Yeah, nope, that's fantastic. that's great. That's brutal, actually. It's not great. The answer is that's brutal. On the one bright side, I can kill a Hogaak, which is about the only way I'm going to have a chance... No, wait, hold on. Yeah, it's the only way I'm going to have a chance to win this game. So what happens? If I attack in and they don't block, I can then bolt them twice, putting them down to pretty close to dead, actually. Okay, so yeah, here's the plan. If they block, then we have to kill the Hogaak, and we're probably going to lose this game anyway. If they don't block, then we can hit them for 9. Which is pretty impressive. Yeah, alright. Yeah. So it's a little frustrating in that I could have played around that by just killing the Stitcher Supplier. Yeah, I don't think there's any way we're going to get around this game anymore. But yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, that was a misplay. That's too bad. So if I had killed the Stitcher Supplier instead, they would have played the Wayfinder. I could have untapped, played Swift Spear, and then maybe even bolted the Wayfinder. And then they wouldn't have had Hogaak. It would have been an attack. They would have had an empty board. I could have attacked in for 2. Yeah, and then this wouldn't be happening again either, I don't think. Yeah, so this has just become a comedy of errors here. This is quite horrible. I don't know why they're like holding priority on this. Yeah, so that's what the play should have been, right? Like in my mind, Hogaak is like just like this delving card, and it does, but it does still require the 2 convoked creatures to get out. Something that in my mind, I actually haven't played against this deck since they banned Bridge from Below. So in my mind, they always just kind of have it anyway because they get the Bridge from Below out and then they make zombie tokens. But that's not quite how it works anymore. Yeah, this is. I don't know. I got no way to deal with this, so we're just gonna put out stuff and we're gonna see what we can do because we sure can't attack into this anymore. Yeah, pretty. We're basically just sort of seeing what they've got in their deck. Anyone who doesn't know what this deck does, you can take notes. But I think we're pretty much in game 2 already here. We do have things to bring in for this deck, though. We have the Anger of the Gods. Anger of the Gods gets rid of Vengevines, gets rid of Stitcher Supplier, all these things, and it exiles them so they don't come back. That's another nice thing about that. I'm not sure what our opponent has to think about here. Maybe they're just trying to figure out if they can win this turn. Because they're at 15 life still. I feel like just attacking in with everything is not only safe, but it's going to end the game pretty quick. I'm not sure why Hogaak needed Trample as well. I'm certainly not the only person to think that R&D was... It's almost like it was take your kid to work day. And they had somebody come in and go, little Johnny's decided that this is how we just throw some keywords onto a card and hit submit. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. Okay, come on. What are you multi-queuing? Let's go. Oh, come on. You're killing me here. Like, not literally. Sure. Just gonna tap them individually just to troll you. This is how much damage. This is actually lethal. This is actually a lethal amount of damage. Yeah, we've lost this game, so we're just gonna see what they got going on. See as much of their deck as we can. So hopefully I can try to get all this, I get it. Round 1 I could maybe say was rust. This was just a poor game. This is just a not thinking through of how the cards and the stack and everything actually work. Down to 1. All right, concede game. Okay, so what do we want? We want paths, absolutely. We want relics. We want rest in peace. We want Anger of the Gods. What do we not want? I don't think I've made a plan for this deck. What's weak? Eidolon is weak. Kind of. Sometimes they have to cast a few spells, like a Stitcher Supplier and things like that. But like generally, they're gonna be faster. Generally, Eidolon's gonna be kind of weak. All the top cards are just lands. Searing Blaze isn't great. Skullcrack's not great. They're not really gaining life. And otherwise, that's just a lightning it's not even a lightning strike then, because it can't even hit creatures. So get the Skullcracks out of there. What else? Helix is good because we're racing. Low mana cost spells are good because we're sort of racing. I could take out a Rift Bolt and a Skewer the Critics. One isn't Screw the Critic isn't so great without Rift Bolts, and they're sometimes a little slow and situational. So yeah, I can get rid of those. I think that's probably the way we want to do it. Okay, let's try and like against a normal like fair deck. This is a fine hand. This is great. Well, I'm wondering if I can try to mulligan into some graveyard hate though, because this is not an interactive hand. This is not an interactive hand. You know what? I'm just gonna keep. We got to be able to do our own thing. Also, I'm now like 7 cards deep to try to find some hate pieces or something. And this is a pretty fast start. This would have been a good start in game 1, as I mentioned. Yeah, we would have filled up their graveyard, but it would have gotten rid of the Stitcher Supplier, wouldn't have made them able to convoke out the Hogaak. So that's something. Like this would have been if I had just played it out and not overthought the problem in game 1, this would have been fine. So they mulligan to 6. That's a good first step. All right, they mulliganed to 5 last game. Really would have been great if it had been like Jund or something. Yeah, that's right. That was off a mulligan to 5. I forgot about that. Ooh. Yeah, these graveyard decks are strong. Modern is... Yeah, Modern's a bit silly. I'm almost thinking they should just remove the graveyard and just replace it with the Exile Zone. Just nerf the graveyard. Just remove the graveyard from the games. Just do that. That would be an interesting and aggressive design choice. I also have no effects. All right, how crazy does this get? Blackleaf Cliffs. Okay. Well, a land is definitely not what I wanted to draw. It's very, very poor. Yeah, this is bad. This is just all bad. You know what? Here, we're gonna use the Sunbaked Canyon now. Actually, is what we're gonna do. We're gonna use it to draw a card. No, come on! What is with the lag? Ah, that's so brutal. It's like so brutal. Thanks, computer. I don't know if it's my internet or the computer or magic, but that was a nice little bit of lag there. It caused me to click through my attack step. Round 1 was my fault. This one was I had an assist at the very least. Oh boy. I clicked through another attack step in this league. I might honestly not put this online. This is getting silly. All right. Okay, well, they're giving us time, and they should be at 18 life. So, how's that? Come on, something. You gotta be kidding me. Come on. God. This is just so bad. Oh, that's just like so bad. Wow. 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 Maybe they're gonna lightning axe this at end of turn or something. I don't know. They're not doing anything. It's frightening. They're probably just gonna lightning axe this. Yeah, discard Vengevine. That's a good one. That is a good one. All right, so we want them to just go bananas. And then we want to draw an Anger of the Gods. They have 2 Vengevines. Yes, of course they do. Okay. Oh, what else happens now? Oh, just tap. Okay. Oh no, they're paying for something. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a thing. Sure. Honestly, I think Path to Exile into Anger the Gods is like the only thing that gets me out of this at this point. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. I might be okay if they can't get the Vengevine out again. I can kill this one. But yeah, this is not really where we want to be. Still gonna take, what is this, like 11 damage? Yeah. So them not being able to get these Vengevines out and drawing a Path to Exile is about the only thing that can save me at this point. That will not do it. That will not do it. Yeah, that's pretty we'll play this. What the heck? Okay, let's actually think about this. So Hogaak's lethal by itself. Yeah, there's nothing I can do here. Maybe they'll click through their attack step. Maybe they'll have some lag. I guess that's always an option. Sure. Loot away. But yeah, we just didn't draw any hate, and we also drew 4 lands. I think 4 lands. I think we started with 4, and we ended up with 7. I think 7. So I think maybe we only drew 3 lands, but yeah, maybe I should have mulliganed. Honestly, I don't have a lot of experience against this deck. I know it's very strong, but since Bridge from Below was banned, I haven't actually played against this new version of this deck, and it's showing. I made the mistake in game 1 against the Citrus Supplier, and I don't know. Okay, so just like extra dead. I don't know what I should be sideboarding in exactly. Or sorry, not sideboarding. I don't know if I should be mulliganing for hate or not. But no, this deck is extremely strong. I would highly recommend having... Maybe I need to change my sideboard and have more graveyard hate that's specifically good against these. Maybe another Path to Exile would be helpful. Not really sure. Either way, that's game 2. And so, I don't know. Unfortunately, we're now 1-1, but we're going to go into round 3. And I will see you there. Okay, here we go. Round 3. No more misplays. No more sloppy play. We're going to get this going. We're going to play tight, and we're going to play fast, and we're going to win. And we got a great hand. 3 lands with a Goblin Guide on the play. We are keeping this hand. We're going to get our opponent got. That's what's going to happen. I don't know about you, Halo Bender. You should go on a bender. You're going to need to drink to forget this game. We're going to get all over ya. Goblin Guide. Don't click through the attack step. Click the creature. Pass turn. We're against control. Control is a good matchup, especially with this Goblin Guide. We are well positioned. Something I should mention about this this matchup is that I like to be aggressive with my life total because it makes timely reinforcements harder for them to cast and get value out of. If you have a low life total as well, sometimes they can't cast it effectively. So for that reason, especially, we're going to shock, and we're going to throw this bad boy out here. They can't cast Timely Reinforcements yet, costs 3 mana. But this is a fantastic turn 1 into turn 2 opener. This is very, very difficult for them to beat. In fact, I don't know how they plan on beating it, to be honest, because next turn we have a lot of options. In fact, I even have a Skullcrack here. Yep. Sorry, what is this? Puts it where? Target creature. Put target creature into its owner's library second from the top. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's going to make the Timely Reinforcements plan harder. So that's fine. You take 2. I'm going to draw that in a turn. Yeah, they could Path to Exile my Goblin Guide, which would shuffle the Eidolon away, but I mean, I don't know, whatever. I'm going to want to hang on to that. But we are hitting our land drops. We are hitting our opponent. Narset. Okay. Narset doesn't do much to us. We don't draw. We don't have any card draw. So it's really just the searching effect. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit back and wait. I'm just gonna hammer away at their life total. Timely? Yeah, that's not gonna do it. That's not going to do it. That's why we're playing main deck Timelies. Or main deck Skullcracks. Hey, there's that Eidolon. Still got him. Do I want to cast Searing Blaze? I think I don't at this point. They pretty much need to have another Timely Reinforcements for this to be like not just sort of a win at this point. Like if I play out the Eidolon, they can't really do anything. They are just tapped out. So what do I do here? Play the Eidolon, or I could just Boros Charm them and Lightning Bolt them. Put them down to 2 life. No, I think we play the Eidolon, and then after that we just hold everything up. If they have another Timely Reinforcements, it would be unfortunate, but I mean, whatever. Like, we can still hypothetically beat that. They'll gain 4 life, go to 13. I have like something like 10 in my hand. Yeah, see, like they can't really cast much. They can't really do anything. So if we attack in, they could maybe Snapcaster, something like that. I don't really want to give them the opportunity to Snapcaster and block. Yeah, I'm just going to hold up interaction. I'm just going to make them tap out. Their spells cost like 4 and 3. Okay, well, that also helps. I also now have like lethal potentially. That's fine. If they don't have a counterspell, I have lethal there, but I think this is fine. I know they have a Field of Ruin, a Teferi, and a Narset in hand. Let's throw a Bolt at them. See what happens. The nice thing about this is that if they want to counter this, I mean, they could use a Cryptic, but they have to, like, basically take damage to counter these spells. And if they want to use a Cryptic and tap 4 mana, fine. I'm just going to untap and win. That's what makes this matchup so hard. Plus, we had a really, really great first 2 turns. Goblin Guide into Eidolon on the play. That's really hard for them. So what is this? Counter target spell and draw? Oh, that's fine. Before they... Yeah, okay. So now we can pretty much just win. So now I'm going to deal them 3 with the Searing Blaze. You know what? I can even just... Oop, what? I can even just take damage and get my Sacred Foundry. That's fine. I guess hypothetically they could have something like Force of Negation. So maybe that makes sense to do this before they draw a card, but... I don't think that's a concern. So now they go down to 2. Just if you know, yeah. So like we're just golden here. Okay. Yeah, you have to do that. That is what you have to do. Yeah. Our opponent did pretty well almost coming back in that game, considering we had a... That was actually really, really strong, considering we had a Skullcrack for their timely reinforcements, and we had Goblin Guide into Eidolon. That was... Yeah. That was strong. Okay, so against control, we definitely want the Skullcracks. We want Fry. Probably want maybe one path for any of their big threats that they used to try to close the game out with. My computer has gone to sleep on me here. Again, it's one of the reasons I make sideboard guides ahead of time. I don't have to worry about this as much. Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted. Okay, cool. So yeah, Skullcrack, Path, Fry. I don't really love Skewer the Critics. It requires... It's good. Yeah, if you're just running your opponent over, it's a win more card. It is strong that way, but sometimes it's hard to find those opportunities, especially when you want to, go at instant speed, right? Like end turn, bolt, untap, bolt, that kind of idea. It also has to be like the second spell at that in those circumstances. So Searing Blaze isn't great. You can have a couple copies if you want for like Vendilion Click and Snapcaster Mage and stuff, but generally speaking, you're not really going to get targets and you're not really going to get too many opportunities, and this is not a racing situation, so you can take Helix out as well. I'd be willing to cut more copies of Helix or Searing Blaze if you had, more things in the sideboard, like if you wanted a stronger game against specifically control, Fry, they can't be countered through 4 damage spell that I can't think of Exquisite Firecraft, things like that. If there's a lot of control in your meta, I would be willing to cut maybe another Searing Blaze, another Helix, another Skewer the Critics. Rift Bolt's nice. It's bad against a fairy, but it's nice because again, you can sort of overload your opponent by spending mana on this the turn before. So yeah, I think that's how we want. Everything. In fact, yeah, no, this is fine. Yeah, I want it like this. This is good. Let's go like this. 3 lands makes me a bit worried if we draw too many more. But a turn 1 creature, it's a turn 1 creature and not 4 or more lands almost makes this like an auto keep against control. Almost. Let's start again. I do want to worry about timely reinforcements a little bit when I'm like tapping out and not holding up interaction, so I will shock myself there. See, they're winning the life race right now. They're ahead. These are some good draws. I am not going to throw spells into open mana. I could have suspended a Rift Bolt, actually, but I prefer to do that when they're a little bit lower. Putting them from 18 down to 12, it's not, the biggest thing. It's more about, like, get them down to 12, then put them down to, like, 3 or 2 or 0, something along those lines. I'm more willing to sort of hold up spells and sort of stockpile resources at this point. Usually on turn 3 they have to tap out for something here. But yeah, whether it's a Narset, something else. So I don't care about the card draw part of this, but I do possibly care about having them search for spells. I think this might be too slow, so I think we're gonna let this. I think we're just going to Boros Charm them here now that they can't counter this, and let it resolve and go with that information. I think the other option would be let it go down and then maybe Boros Charm, or I guess I could bolt the Narset. I think this is the way I want to do. Like, everything in my hand costs 1 mana. Ooh, Force of Negation. Well, that's good to know about. Yep. That is good to know about. I also don't like how this doesn't cost 1 life. I feel like if Force of Will cost 1 life to sort of cheat out, I feel like this one should as well. They're at 14. I think I can deal... Well, I mean, they can Force of Negation something, but I think I can deal 12 right now. More than that. Okay, so that's the plan. Especially since I've got this Force of Negation, it's going to make it hard to fight through any kind of... and 6 cards in hands. So, yeah, that's the plan right now. I might as well get the other Sacred Foundry out of my deck, I guess. Especially since they have Path to Exile. So, yeah, we're going to go Lava Spike. Maybe get this Narset out of the way, actually. Basically draws them a card. No, we're just going to get them dead. So, if they have something like a Timely Reinforcements right next turn, that's going to be tough. They also can find it with... Okay, so they don't have Force of Negation, and they exile the Supreme Verdict. Yeah, Supreme Verdict's pretty bad. I'm surprised they kept it in at all, to be honest. But yeah, so they would have gone down to 1. Yeah, so... That's smart, because it also would turn off their fetch lands. All right. Yep. So Timely Reinforcements is the big thing we don't want to see. Yeah, Cryptic's not the worst. Boros Charm would be great. That's a bad one. Yeah, no, I don't care about Narset now. And it's a little greedy just because I don't know what I'm going to draw. Oh, okay. I was going to say, I thought they were going to take the 1 damage, maybe go to 3, and then I would suspend the Rift Bolt to possibly try and win next turn. The thing about suspending the Rift Bolt is it pretty much forces them to not do anything with their next turn. Because if they want to hold up Cryptic Command or something else, like they kind of have to not tap any mana. Yeah, you know what? They're at a low enough life total. I think I'm going to try to go for it here. Yeah, so they pretty much sort of have to hold up Cryptic mana here. To, I guess they'll counter draw. I still have 1 more land I can fetch out of the deck. I still have 1 more mountain. I don't like fetching this low necessarily, especially against a Path to Exile deck, because it's basically going to make the Scalding Tarn a dead card in that case. But I do want to deck thin. You know, like this is one of those. You know, like if I just draw Boros Charm, I win. If I draw a Goblin Guide or an Eidolon, that's really strong. Because I'm expecting they're going to have to tap out here. Maybe not. They could just have a... Actually, Mana Leak doesn't do it. Remand doesn't really do it. They pretty much need to have Cryptic. Oh, yeah, okay, or this. I guess that's a thing as well. Sure. That's a bad... it's a bad land, but we get to redraw. The beauty of Sunbaked Canyon. Oh, no! Oh, God. Okay, so remember when I said I had no card draw on my deck? Alright, so that's the first time that interaction has happened. The especially frustrating part about that is that I could have just waited till their turn and done it. Oh my god. Nice. That's a pass the turn. Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, so even more. Oh god. So yeah, now again the Skulling Tarn looks rough. You know, they feel to ruin me. They get a basic out of my deck, and so what would we have drawn? Yeah, that would have been nice to have last turn. That would have been nice. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I got. That was a got him. Good job, Narset. That was a got him. Oh boy. Would have drawn a Rift Bolt. Yeah. Would have been nice. How about now? Do you have to tap out for Cryptic Command now? Well, not even really tapping out anymore. Yeah, this time they have the Cryptic. Counter draw. Yep. Okay. Boros Charm. Eidolon. No. Those are poor draws. On the bright side, even like best case scenario, if I hadn't screwed up with that Sunbaked Canyon, I shouldn't say on the bright side, but so if I hadn't screwed up with that Sunbaked Canyon, we would have drawn the Rift Bolt and then the Wooded Foothills. So even like best case scenario, they'd be down to like 1 life right now. Probably still have this Cryptic Command. Yeah, it's just this is tough. This is tough. We need to just like basically count. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna play this out. I am just gonna stockpile cards in my hand. That's a good one. Your counter spells are going to cost like, you know, 2 and 3 mana. My spells are going to cost 1 and 2 mana. That's the plan. You have way more cards than I do right now, though. Oh, yeah. What are they doing? Okay, what happened with that? They put a card on top. Okay, they liked whatever they had. So that's something I have to remember that. Sunbaked Canyon and Narset. That's a new one. I haven't experienced that yet before. Yeah, that was that was pretty rough. Ugh. I mean, we have to. I mean, they'll probably have a counter spell here, but we have to try. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Put a card on the bottom. Oh, come on. What'd you get? Dispel? What'd you get? Fantastic. Okay. Oh, and they don't even get... That's right. I don't have any creatures in play. They don't even get a creature. Okay, well, they didn't have anything that could counter Skullcrack, so I'm thinking that we probably have a green light here. Yeah, so it means they don't have Spell Snare. It means they don't have Dispel. It means they don't have... they could have had... They maybe could have had... Hold on. Yeah, they maybe could have had like a mana leak. But if that's what they have here, then if they... Yeah, and then if they counter the spell, then the Eidolon kills them. So that was lucky. That was lucky that they... Yeah, we were lucky to draw the Skullcrack, and we were patient and just waited them out. I don't know what was in their hand. Oh, they could have had like a Force of Negation too, actually. Yeah. So I don't know what was in their hand. It must have been just like 5 mana, like 5 mana to fairies, cryptic commands, things like that, right? That's generally why this matchup is so good, because, you know, I can cast 2 or 3 spells and they can cast like 1, right? So, so we're 2-1, and we have had a streak of at least 1 punt 3 games in a row. This has been a humbling maiden voyage for this channel. But on the bright side, we're still showing the strength of Burn. We're showing what can happen when you don't, you know, trip over your own keyboard and whatnot. Because we're still in the winners bracket, and yeah, strong matchup. So then Andrew, day 2 Dryden, piloting his way through a Modern League, and I will see you in this 3, right? Yeah, I'll see you in round 4. Round 4, another great opening hand. We haven't had to use the London Mulligan once, too many times yet, maybe once. I think we mulligan 1 hand. Again, on the play, turn 1 creature, 3 lands. These will even turn into other spells when we flood out and have the extra mana. So yeah, no, fantastic. Big fan of this. I think I'm going to start with the Sacred Foundry. Actually, yeah, this is an interesting question. Do I start with the Sunbaked Canyon, take 1 damage, or do I just take 2 damage right now? Actually, I just take the 2 damage right now. We're going to put them to 19 anyway, so we're on the play. We're an aggro deck. I think we can get away with this. Little GLHF action to the opponent there. Flooded Strand. Okay, it looks like control again. So that's good. We have a very good hand against. We have an absolutely fantastic hand against control. This Eidolon is only making it better. I'm going to pause, like I'm thinking about whether or not I'm going to throw some more spells at their face here. I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm not at all concerned. I'm dropping this Eidolon. I'm 100% throwing this Eidolon down, but I want to make them sort of think about it. Maybe they've got a path they're debating putting down. But yeah, I think this is very, very strong. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Spell Snare main deck? That would be horrible. That would actually be really horrible. But no, Opt is fine. And they put a card on the bottom. FYI. How do I want to do this? I'll play the Sunbaked Canyon. I'm going to attack in. If they want a Snapcaster, I have ways to remove it. And then I can also just hold up instant speed interaction. Or I can even just draw a card here. Oh, Vapor Snag. That's interesting. Sure. It's too bad this Lava Spike's a sorcery. Otherwise, I would let the Eidolon come back, Lava Spike them, get another prowess trigger, and then play it. But of course, these are all imaginary instances of interaction. So yeah, you can take that damage. And then I'm just going to play this out again. Yeah. It's possible I could have played that Lava Spike, but like I said, I think just stockpiling spells until you can just unload them. Oh, that's frustrating. Can I... Oh! Ah, that's frustrating. If I had a bolt or something, I could fizzle this. Yeah, because the... So if I tap the Sunbaked Canyon for mana, I go to 14. Then we're both at 14, but they're going to take another 2 off the Eidolon. Again, if this Lava Spike was an instant, I could just cast it and then we'd be fine. But that's too bad. That is too bad. Oh well, okay. Still very strong hand against control. We can still deal with this very effectively. To the point where I'm even just going to attack in here. It's really too bad they gained that life. I even have the Skullcrack in hand. I wasn't playing around a turn 3. I thought getting the Eidolon out was important. I wasn't playing around a... Sure. That was a good series of turns for them, though. The Vapor Snag into the Timely. That's good. And the Timely was, like, just enough there, too. It's possible I could have played around that more. No, I think getting the Eidolon down was important. This is something I might want to respond to, though. This is a very big problem. This can be a very big problem. How do we want to do this? Yeah. I'll Helix in response. I don't want to fetch. Why is this not doing this? I don't need to fetch in response. I can attack. It depends what they do with the Teferi. If they just tick the Teferi up, I'm not sure what I'm going to want to do. Like, if they bounce my Eidolon, yeah, that's fine. I'm kind of okay with this. I just get to just keep playing this out, right? Like, they're not going to really be able to tempo me out very easily. Okay, so... Teferi makes our instance and such much worse, however. So how do we want to do this? Maybe I just ignore the Teferi and just go for their life total at this point. They've already gone through one timely reinforcements. Yeah, I think I just do that. I think if we play out the Eidolon... Well, okay, we Lightning Helix them, then we play out the Eidolon. I think that's pretty strong. It'll put them to 7, and it'll set us up to win the turn after. Yeah, I think that's the way we want to do it. So I will get a basic. Maybe getting a Shockland would have been better. Would have helped play around timely reinforcements, but... Interesting. Okay. That's a reason to have played out the Eidolon first, I guess. Okay. Yeah, we're attacking them. They chump with one. Yeah, okay. This is all pretty academic at this point. Force negation was frustrating though. Yeah, that means putting the Eidolon out first. I wasn't thinking of that. The problem here now is if they can instant speed cast something like another timely reinforcements, that would be tough. Sure. That's pretty strong. So yeah, okay. And I can cast everything. Instant speed doesn't matter at this point because of this, but whatever. So I guess we start with a Skullcrack, although I don't know if it matters. The nice thing about Force Negation too is it triggers Eidolon, something Force of Will doesn't do. Something to think about. We are at very low life total, but opponent needs to deal with something. Come on, opponent. Attack. Opponents. Okay. I think we got there. Again, I like to be really aggressive with my life total in these control matchups. Like, we went down to 2 there. Like, that was a bit closer than I like it to be. But when you're doing that, it does make those timely reinforcements more difficult. Okay, so what did we say? We had a Path, we had a Fry, we had 2 Skullcracks. We took out a Searing Blaze, a Skewer the Critics, and a Rift Bolt? Is that what we did? No, 2 Skewer the Critics. Yeah, you could do both. Either one is fine. In that case, Skewer the Critics was better. We were able to win that turn. You know what? They played Teferi there. Maybe they're playing more Teferis. Okay, I'll take out a Rift Bolt. Whatever. One was good in one was good in the other. What have I done here? What have I not taken out? Searing Blaze. What have I done? Oh, and a Lightning Helix. Right. Again, all cards that we played with in that game that were generally pretty good and helped us win that matchup. But I think this is generally a little bit better. I mean, you definitely want the Skullcracks. You can't not have Skullcracks. Eidolon is showing up in the games where it's a big deal. It's been really nice having Eidolon in this league so far. I think if I had to pick a single card that's done the most work so far, it would have to be Eidolon. Again, this hand is amazing. 2 lands. We know we're going to curve out. We got Goblin Guide and Eidolon on the play. We even have like Fry, which is fantastic, and a few other like Searing Blaze is a little bit loose, but there are points when we can find useful targets for it. One thing I don't. Oh, I was going to say. Yeah, again, I'm going to be aggressive with my life total. I was going to say, one thing I don't want to see is a Spell Snare, but Spell Snare doesn't work on Goblin Guide, right? So they could path, and then next turn could be like Spell Snare. That would be frustrating. Then again, if they path here, it means, well, and if they get a Hollowed Fountain, it means they're taking 2 damage anyway, but it is what it is. So I could have played the Eidolon first, and maybe they would have taken 2 damage off of that. Generally, I find they're going to have less removal, and I don't want to cast the Eidolon into open mana. Like, if they have to cast a Celestial Purge and they take 2 damage, I mean, that's fine, I guess. Here, what's going to happen here? If they untap and go... If they untap and go Timely Reinforcements, what's going to happen? I'm going to be at 17, they're going to be at 15, and then they'll gain life. So yeah, I actually want to fetch and shock here so I can play around the Timely Reinforcements when I tap out. I mean, they could hypothetically play around it as well by like fetching and shocking and then playing a Timely Reinforcements. That would do it. But like if they just play an island or this Field of Ruin, they can't Timely Reinforcements right now, right? Yeah, so like if they Celestial Purge the Eidolon and then I got him with the Goblin Guide, that's fine. But if I cast the Eidolon first and they like mana leak it or something or spell snare it, that feels really bad. That feels really, really bad. That's a good draw with the Searing Blaze. It's pretty bad for everything else, actually. Well, let's get in with the Eidolon. If they want to put like a Snapcaster in front of it, that's fine. I can Searing Blaze it. I'm only doing it because I can remove... If I didn't have a way to remove like a Snapcaster Mage, I would not be attacking with this Eidolon. I would not be putting it in harm's way at all. Yeah, we're just going to hold up. Just going to hold up mana. It's a little lame. It's a little lame. Yeah, well. Sure. It's a little frustrating I can't like hit them in the meantime and force them to have to try to use a counter spell, which they'll take damage for, but whatever, it is what it is. That's one of the reasons we have Fry, and one of the reasons we have Path to Exile in the deck. It's also one of the easiest ways for me right now to get this Searing Blaze out of my hand, which looks like it's pretty stuck. So for that reason, it lets me use my mana. And we're going to do this. That's a good draw. Can I just kill them? We go Fry, we go Skewer, we attack. That's 6 damage plus 3 prowess triggers. Oh! Yeah, I think that's lethal. Wow. Out of nowhere. So we'll start with Fry. That was a mistake tapping this, but whatever. They could Force of Negation here. If they have Force of Negation, then we don't just win. But if they don't have Force of Negation, I think this is just lethal, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Wow, awesome. Turn 5 win. This is why Control is a good matchup, because they have to pay 5 mana for a Baneslayer Angel to try and win the game, and we have Fry, Path to Exile, things like that. Go ahead, tap out, tap 5 mana. I will untap and cast 3/1 mana spells and deal you like half your life total. So I think we're seeing a good example of why, and I'm finally getting some of the rust off my wheels here. I don't think I made any misplays that game. Finally. So we're sort of seeing why Control is a good matchup. I think if anyone wanted to sort of try to figure out how to play the matchup, I think this is generally a pretty good explanation why. We also had very strong draws though, right? We had like Goblin Guides and Swift Spears into Eidolons. That is very difficult for the Control opponent to deal with. It forces them to have to deal with what's on board. It forces them to take damage by, they can't cast their ops and things. So yeah, no, the Eidolons have been showing up at exactly the right times in this league. So fantastic. So we're 3-1 now, right? Yeah, 3-1. Fantastic. We're going into round 5, and we're going to try for that 4-1 in our very first league on this channel. So it's been Andrew, day 2 Dryden. I will see you in round 5. Oh baby, on the play again. Turn 1 creature, in this case our best one, Goblin Guide, in our opening hand again. Big fan of how this league's been going. Absolutely keeping this hand. Again, these Sunbaked Canyons, there were times when 4-land hands, I was like, I gotta turn 1 Goblin Guide on the play and a few spells. Like, what do I want to do here? The fact that I know this Sunbaked Canyon can turn into like a new draw step later on in the game, makes this not really a 4-land hand. It's more like a 3.5 land hand, right? Like, if that makes sense. So I am just a huge fan of what this does to this deck. Sunbaked Canyons are by far the best card we've had probably since Eidolon of the Great Revel. It's just amazing. I'm not sure yet about how you want to build the mana base with the green splash. That's a little bit harder for me to figure out because they don't have those allied colored lands in this cycle yet, right? There isn't like a green red one. And it's pretty hard to try to figure out. Like, I know how to build a green, like a Naya colored mana base without Sunbaked Canyons, but I'm not sure how to do it with them yet. I haven't had to try and figure it out, but it's probably tough. What you probably end up having to do is like cut down on your basics. You probably have to go down to like it. I can't see having more than 2 basic lands in the deck. Okay, don't make the mistake I made in round 1 where I click through my attack step. Like, let's slow it down just a little bit here. You probably have to cut down and can't have more than 2 basic lands in your deck, which means you're going to be a little bit weaker to like Field of Ruin and Path to Exile decks. It also might make it a little bit tougher in the aggro matchups when you're trying to save a little bit of life by just fetching a basic. So, okay, Faithless Looting. So, we're up against something busted. We're up against something that doesn't want to play fair. Hopefully it's Dredge. I think Dredge is easier than Hogaak to face, but we'll see. Yep, cast Faithless Looting. Strong play. So I think I would rather see Dredge. The other thing is that Anger of the Gods is also much better against Dredge than it is against Hogaak. As we saw there, in round 2, I think it was. An 8-powered Hogaak is just like, what do you even do to this thing, right? Whereas you can at least wipe the board with an Anger of the Gods against Dredge. And, the Prized Amalgams and the Blood Gas and all those things aren't going to come back. So, Insolent Neonate. So, no, pretty sure this is... Okay, like, I know I've been talking about how, like, these 4-land hands are like, okay, but then, like, drawing the 5th one is a little tilting. Not gonna lie. It's a little frustrating. The Skullcrack's also pretty bad against a deck that likely isn't gonna try and gain life. So, yeah, Insolent Neonate, pretty sure that means we're up against, like, Hogaak, Vengevine, whatever. Dredge could run Insolent Neonate, but it's more likely, after seeing a Faithless Looting and all this stuff, like, they would have put a Dredger in the graveyard, right? They would have had, like, a Life from the Loam or something like that. So, yeah, there's Stitcher Supplier. So, yeah, there's our answer there. So, that's fine. So, now that's what we're up against. Hey, they're down to 13 life already. So, we had a pretty fast start here, and we need to stop drawing lands, first off. But, we can also pretty quickly turn the corner here and just burn them out. Especially if they're stuck on mana here. Or they might even have to be debating whether they have to fetch and shock. Oh, Stitcher Supplier. Okay. So they hit Lightning Axe, Faithless Looting, and a Blackleaf Cliffs. Yeah, they're probably debating the fetch and shock. So we might see a Hogaak though, because if they have like another 1-mana spell here, they can Hogaak. Yep. Yep. There's nothing I can do about it this time, so I don't need to worry about it. I'm also going to Skullcrack them because like they don't really have any gain life spells, so they're effectively at 9. Yeah, we could hypothetically just win here. No, I'll just get a basic. I'm not sure if that 1 life's going to make a difference, but that's strong. I can put them down to 2. Put them down to 2, and then they have to basically deal me 18 damage next turn. Okay. And I get 2 draws next turn to try and get something because I have a draw step plus a Sunbaked Canyon. Okay. Yeah, sounds good to me. The one nice thing is I know I don't have to play around anything, right? There's no counter spells. I don't believe they have any main deck life gain or anything like that. So okay. They can do some crazy stuff here, but outside of the Vengevines, well, no, they could. I was gonna say the Bloodghasts have haste as well, but not right now. I don't believe they'll be able to give the Bloodghasts haste this turn. So if I can just top deck pretty much anything except a land, or I mean, do I block here? I mean, I guess I do. I'm not blocking here. No, because if I top deck like a Goblin Guide or something. Okay, so hold on. If I take 10, I think I don't block here. I'm pretty sure I don't block. Like, this Goblin Guide's not going to save me any more life than it's going to save me on another turn. And no matter what, like the Hogaak's coming in, and so the Bloodghasts are going to have hastes, things like that. Yep, Carrion Feeder, that's fine. Basically, I need my top 2 cards to contain a burn spell. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And it can even be a... Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. That's not what we wanted to see. I think we have to see what we can do here with this. Because I can't win if I just play out an Eidolon, right? Yeah, no. No, I can't. I need to draw a burn spell off the top. Come on. Come on. Oh no, I can't play it because I already played a land per turn. I guess that was a reason to play the Sunbaked Canyon last turn instead of fetching. But then again, these draws would have been totally different. Yeah, I guess not playing at the Sunbaked Canyon. I guess it takes a land out of the deck, but it doesn't play around drawing a Sunbaked Canyon as one of the 2 cards. Oh, that's so frustrating. Okay, well, we got to do this and we got to pass. What's... Yeah, because this thing can't block, but these can. I was going to say, I'm trying to figure out what the best option is, whether it's try to see if they click through their block step or see if they click through their attack step. It's probably the attack step, but... Yeah, because Hogaak, so put something in front of Hogaak. Yeah, no, this is... Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. We needed one. We need probably one more draw step, one fewer land. That's too bad. All right, so I don't know. Put something here. Put something. It doesn't matter here. Yeah. Okay. Great. That's really unfortunate. These Hogaak decks are giving me a hard time. Starting to wonder if deflecting palm isn't something that I should be putting in. What was our next card? I shouldn't have looked. I don't. Why do you look? Okay, get the Skullcrux out of there. Rest in peace. We definitely want Paths. Definitely want Relic. I think Eidolon. Definitely want at least 2 fewer Eidolons. Searing Blaze isn't great. Rift Bolt's not great. It's a little slow. We put the Anger of the Gods in last time. Do we do it again this time? It wouldn't have been good enough in that last game, even if we had had it at probably the most opportune moment. It's good against Vengevine. It's not. It's just so bad against Hogaak. That's the thing. It's good against all the other creatures in the deck, but it's really bad against Hogaak. It can also be really bad against Carrion Feeder. I'm willing to try one. If we draw it, maybe I can. You know what? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna put this in, but I'm gonna think throughout the game. If I had an Anger of the Gods in my hand, how good would it be right now? I am gonna think about that. Would you like to play first? Yes. Okay, come on. Let's try to go 4-1. Ooh, this is not great. Only one land, a bunch of 2 casting spells, and an Eidolon, which isn't great that we can't even cast. I say we mulligan this. This is a much better hand. Yeah, get rid of this Lava Spike. Absolutely. Double Goblin Guide, Path to Exile. Fantastic. Big fan of this hand. This would have been a great opening 7. It's still pretty good as a 6. Yeah, it's still pretty good because Lava Spike's not amazing. Put that one on the bottom. Done. Do 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 do. The opponent mulligans to 6, and I guess they're debating if they're going to mulligan to 5 or not. Nope. Opponent goes to 6. I'm going to try to avoid getting a Sacred Foundry this turn. Unlike against the control matchup where I was being really excessive with my life total because I wanted to try to make the timely reinforcements difficult for them. In this matchup, I definitely want to try to preserve my life total as much as I can. As we saw there, right? Like 1 or 2 points of life can make a difference, you know, giving me a whole nother turn. And sometimes that one draw step makes all the difference in the game. So let's see how we go here. One other thing that's nice about the London Mulligan that I haven't really seen anyone talking about because no one who's popular plays Burn is how I definitely had opponents who would mulligan and then scry lands to the top of their deck in the hopes that I would Goblin Guide them into their hand. I definitely had opponents do that to me before, and so people can't do that anymore, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how often that actually comes up, but more than 0%, that's for sure. So I might see a Lightning Axe here. That was a mistake. I should have probably given myself the option to Path to Exile if I needed to. Yeah, that's probably a mistake. So Gravecrawler's not there anymore. Hogaak is there, though. I'll get this out of my hand now. It's only really bad if I draw a Swift Spear next turn. Otherwise, it's best to just get these things out of my hand. Like I said, I don't think the opponent has any... Usually these decks aren't running life gain. That's a good card. Dump Hogaak into the graveyard with. Yeah, these decks aren't really running life gain, so I don't need to like sort of bluff a Skullcrack or anything like that. That's good that it's going to get the Bloodghast back. Doesn't count as casting it though, so it doesn't get the Vengevine going. The Bloodghast also can't block, so see? I can't cast both these spells next turn now, even if I wanted to. Sorry, okay, Hogaak is in the gray. Oh, they didn't discard Hogaak? Oh, that was a mistake then, taking it off. Whatever. Carrion Feeder, Carrion Feeder. Okay, so I don't think I need... No, I don't... I was going to say, do I need to Path to Exile this Bloodghast so they can't cast a Hogaak? But I don't think that's what needs to happen. I think if they can cast a Hogaak, fine, I'll Path to Exile that. Because they're going to be able to cast 2 Carrion Feeders, get a Vengevine. There's the foil one. This is why you don't use different copies. I know, like, it's why I only use the same color, same kind of like printing for basic lands and things like that in these decks, right? Like, you're giving me free information that I like, you know. Anyway, like if they cast another foil Carrion Feeder, I know there's still this one in their hand. Yeah, sure. Again, I think as long as I just untap and draw a burn spell, I think that's what I kind of want to be trying to do here. Sure. Yeah, I'm not doing anything with this. Okay, so hitting him down to 3 is 100% what the play should be. We have a million live draws. I can even just Path to Exile this Vengevine and attacking with the Goblin Guides. That works too. Actually, I don't even need to show them the Path to Exile, do I? Pretty sure I don't. Right? I'm not missing it. Can't block, can't block. So 1 block, they take at least 3. Yeah. It's not really, you know, something... you know what, whatever. Everyone knows Burn plays Path to Exile. I'm not even gonna... Yeah, okay. Yeah. Don't even play around, Andrew. Just like you're not some weird sideboard tech. Just... Oh! Something I forgot to think about was how good Anger the Gods might have been. Even on that last turn, yeah. Oh, well, maybe not. Because they could have sacked everything to the Carrion Feeder in response. That actually would have made it really awkward. And it would have killed all my creatures. Yeah, okay. So... Then again, these Eidolons are bad on the... They're even worse on the draw. Okay, let's put a Searing Blaze back in. Let's put a Rift Bolt back in. I guess those are better. Oh, I didn't have the Anger of the Gods in. Yeah, okay. Like, if they didn't have Carrion Feeder, Anger of the Gods would be better. But Carrion Feeder, like... It's either not worth casting the Anger of the Gods. For the first time, I've had a Rest in Peace against this deck. I think we got to keep it based... Oh, yeah, and we have Goblin Guide into Rest in Peace. I mean, like, what else am I supposed to ask for here? I'm pretty sure this is a keep. Or I'm pretty sure this is, like, just... Like, they need to have an answer now. And I haven't seen them... Maybe they had too much sideboard interaction. Right? Maybe they were hoping I would cast a Rest in Peace or something like that in the previous game. And I'm just like, no, I'm just going to do my regular game plan. This gives me that opportunity as well. So... Let's lead off on the mountain. Let's lead off on the Goblin Guide. Another really strong 7-card hand. If we end up going 4-1 in this league, a big part of it is the fact that we've had very strong opening hands and creatures on turn 1 with extreme regularity. Okay, well, I don't think there's anything too busted they can do here. I think the craziest thing that could happen is maybe like a Stitcher Supplier into a Carrion Feeder into a Hogaak. But they didn't, well, not with that mana, that they can't do that. They need double black, and they didn't cast one of those 1-drops on turn 1, which leads me to believe they don't have either one of them. Yep. That's fine. So, ooh. Okay. So what happened? No cards into their hand. Okay. Well, this looks like a pretty good turn to just untap with a rest in, just slam a rest in peace. You know what? I guess we'll attack first. I probably should have attacked before I fetched and everything, but whatever. Interesting that the big dinosaur is in there. I guess as at your upkeep discard a card isn't that big of a deal, right? That's kind of what you want to be doing. Carrion Feeder, yeah. Wow. Okay. I was going to say that's... I mean, it soaks up some damage, but that would have been a Carrion Feeder counter. Pass turn. I'm not going to have any effects again. I mean, hey, they could just... they could have a Nature's Claim. They could have a whole bunch of answers to this Rest in Peace because of the Stomping Ground. But it doesn't look like they're just gonna slam it. I think I also just Rift Bolt this Carrion Feeder if that's what comes down. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fine. This can't block. This is great. So yeah, we get in for what is this, 11 damage? It's pretty close. I think this is 11 damage I'm attacking in for right now. Sounds good to me. It's amazing how nice it can be when you draw your sideboard cards. Okay, don't get too cocky here. I clicked through my attack step more than once this league. Let's try to be sensible here. You don't want to draw the Faithless Looting. All right, that's fair. So still could see like a Lightning Axe or something. But okay. Sounds good to me. I've got lots of live draws. 2 of the creatures I know about can't block, which means if you don't have an answer here, I think I've just got lethal. Hey, you can't block, you better attack. I am like 0-3 against this deck. Okay, so is there any benefit to doing this before damage? If I do this before damage... No, they can't... Unless they have something with flash? I don't think so. I think we just do this now. I should have played a land out, actually. I should have played the Wooded Foothills. it represents more possible plays. You know, I could have like a Skewer the Critics, Lava Spikes, things like that in my hand. I should have played out the Wooded Foothills, then done this. But, yeah. I was going to say, like, a Fatal Push and, like, a Lightning Axe are about the only things I could think. But they didn't have a Lightning Axe last turn to kill my Swift Spear. A Lightning Axe or a Fatal Push, so I'm pretty sure this is just game. Although the opponent is definitely taking their time to make me think it over. Make me question my choices in life. Yeah, I'm like 0-3 against this deck. So if I manage to if I manage to win against it here, that would be nice. This is also the first time I've ever drawn a sideboard card against this deck. The other times I've played it, I've had, you know, Rest in Peace, Relic of Progenitus, things like that, and they just never shown up. And even if they did, you know, the turn 1 Stitcher on the play, you know, turn 1 Stitcher Supplier into Carrion Feeder into whatever. Hey, woo, nice. Okay, so, whew. So. Even though the first 3 rounds of this league were real rough, there were some missed combat steps, there were some really sloppy play against Infect. We still went 4-1, which I think helps show the power of Burn right now. It's doing pretty well. And, you know, hey, better lucky than good, right? If they don't ask how, they ask how many. So, you know, there's lots of people who win games through misplays. I won 2 out of 3 games with some pretty brutal misplays in this league, so that's nice to see. I've still never gone 5-0 on camera, so 4-1's not bad. I'm gonna open up. I'll open up 2 chests and then I'll get the rest for ticks. But yeah, whenever I'm on camera, I like to open up a few things so people see what's going on. But first, I'm gonna look at the deck, think about how it worked out for this league. And then we'll open up a couple chests, and then I'll say my goodbyes. So if you don't want to see the chests or talk about the deck anymore, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. We're a new fledgling channel, even though, you know, we're sort of a spin-off. Maybe we'll be the Frasier of spin-offs, right? You know, arguably Frasier was better than Cheers, arguably. And so we definitely want to aim for that. But either way, it's been nice having you on my brand new digs, my brand new address. Hopefully we'll see you again. Right, so this was the list we played today. In terms of the mana base, again, fantastic. I am still just over the sun, not over the moon. I'm over the sun with Sun-Baked Canyon. I even like the art. Who did this art? Excuse me. The print is very small. I can't see it properly. It looks like Yong Hao Han. I may be pronouncing it wrong, and I can't read it very clearly from here. But they managed to make a very barren, you know, dead landscape look very pretty. Then again, I live in the prairies, so maybe I'm a little biased, but there you go. So, yeah, Sun-Baked Canyon, I think, showed in a few of those games how strong it is. It's a very big deal. I definitely I love what that card has done to the Burn mana base. Overall, again, very strong with our creatures. We had a lot of Goblin Guides or Swift Spears on turn 1, and we had a lot of Eidolons on turn 2. So Eidolons a little bit, well, sometimes the difference between play and draw with Eidolon on turn 2 is literally night and day. Sometimes it literally just makes or breaks how playable the card is. But we saw it definitely shine in a lot of matchups today, especially against Control. So that was really nice. I think it also showed why a couple of main deck Skull Cracks are kind of nice. I think the first game we played against Control, I was able to Skull Crack a Timely Reinforcements. Excuse me. Which made a serious difference in that game. And then, of course, if you ever run into Control, you definitely want 4 copies. So I think having 4 copies in the 75 is absolutely where you want to be. You could even bring a 3rd copy into the main deck, maybe shave a Rift Bolt or a Skewer. I like having 4 Lightning Helix as well in the main deck, just because of the extra little bit of pain in the mana base with Sunbaked Canyons. It's definitely worth it, but in those aggro matchups, it can sometimes be a little bit rough. I think we also saw why cutting down on Searing Blazes was good. I could even see going as low as 2 copies or like cutting them all together. It wasn't very good against control. We were lucky we never drew multiple copies against any of those decks, and I don't think we had multiple copies once, except for games we were losing anyway. So Searing Blaze is a little bit weak in terms of its position right now. I could go down to 2 copies of that if you really wanted to fit a 3rd Skullcrack in the main deck. But yeah, overall, really great. I love all these other 4 ofs. In the sideboard, I could see an argument for another Path to Exile with the Hogaak decks running around, or even just more graveyard hate. I could absolutely see that. In addition to these stronger options like Relic and Rest in Peace, you could even go with really cheap options in terms of their mana cost. Like if I was going to add another piece of graveyard hate here, I'd probably go with something like a Tormod's Crypt or something, so that I could try to like have it come out at different parts of my curve. The other thing that I mentioned, I remember Deflecting Palm. Deflecting Palm is probably a really good card against Hogaak. If they don't have a carrion feeder, I mean, you're basically hitting them for 8, which is sometimes enough to win the game, or at least, and you're basically gaining 8 life. If they don't have a way to sacrifice Hogaak, which is pretty much now, I think without the Bridge from Belows, I don't really think they're running Altar of Dementias anymore. Without a carrion feeder, it's basically a 8 damage, 8 gain life Lightning Helix, which is insane. So yeah, I could see an argument for Deflecting Palms if you wanted to bring those up in different matchups. If Infect becomes really big, Deflecting Palm is a very good card against Infect. So yeah, Deflecting Palm would have been good in this league quite a bit, I think. That's something to keep in mind. We never really saw Smash. Did I bring these in? Oh yeah, I brought them in against Infect as well, and it was really good at killing a Inkmoth Nexus too. So yeah, I think you want things like this. Fry was great too. Oh yeah. Well, if I took out this copy of Fry, I'd probably add in that other Path to Exile. So it's not really that much different in the one game we cast Fry against the Baneslayer Angel. So those are some of the tweaks you can make. Yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on those things. Cards you could also bring in, aside from Deflecting Palm, right now, it's hard to say. Cards other than Deflecting Palm I would consider bringing in right now, other than like more copies of these, or the Tormod's Crypt. I'm not sure there's any. I think this is generally the decks you're running into. Oh, you could bring in something against humans, right? You could bring in Searing Bloods, things like that if you're worried about humans. Searing Blood's not great against a lot of those other matchups. It'd be good against Infect, but not really anything else we saw today. Yeah, Searing Blood's another card, or some other board wipe kind of effect. You could bring in something like Engineered Explosives. That's really good against humans, but it's not really good against any of the other decks we saw today. Oh, that's not true. You could use it against Infect as well. Yeah. Either way, those are my thoughts on the deck. I really like how this is built right now. Outside of some of those sideboard tweaks, that's really the only change I would make. I really like the main deck. I really think this 60 is properly built and the way you kind of want it for the online metagame right now. And again, Sunbaked Canyons, if you don't have 4 copies, the deck's still playable without them, but the optimal mana base right now definitely has Sunbaked Canyons. So yeah. Anyway, that's been the deck. I'm gonna open up a couple treasure chests, and I will say bye to all you fine folks. So what do we got going on here? I'll open up. Yeah, I'll say 2. 2 is fair. Open up 1. Extirpate or whatever. Hey, and a Mutavault. Oh, that's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know how much they're worth online, but for those of you who just started watching this channel, I did used to play Merfolk as my primary deck. That's how Nikachu and I actually became friends originally. So Mutavaults are definitely cool. And I also like Blue-Red Wizards. It's the M14 version, I think. Hey, that's worth 2 ticks. I might hold on to it. We'll see. And Extirpate. It's like the cheap because it's got split second though. I was gonna say it's kind of like the why can't I think of card names today? The surgical extraction for decks, but you have to be running black to play it. That's the one thing. That's worth a tick. It's not bad. I'll probably hold on to that. It has split second, which is the one nice benefit to it though. Cool. All right, so that's a pretty good chest. Let's open one more. I'm not even sure what the chase cards are in this. Okay, 35 play points. That's more than I would have got trading it in. And Phyrexian Ingester. That's probably not worth anything. Probably not. I don't even know what it does. I've never heard of this card before. It's a 3/3 for 7. Not a good start. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-token creature. It's the imprint keyword. It gets plus X plus Y. Okay, so basically, it's a 3/3 for 7. When it comes in, you add the power and toughness of whatever you exiled to it. So that's an interesting effect. It'd be easier if you could like flash it in. I think it needs flash almost. That'd be kind of cool. Whatever. Either way, the 35 play points made that worthwhile. So again, maiden voyage of this new channel. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. I definitely am excited to try to bring it to you, and I can start sort of doing my own content outside of just the Nikachu stuff. What it's going to do is it's going to allow me to have a bit more autonomy, and we're going to maybe do more not deck techs, but more set reviews. We're going to do more things like that, like what's going on in Burn, what cards I think coming out are neat, what maybe like a primer on Eidolon, things like that. Eidolon's one of the hardest cards in the deck to use. We can do a primer on maybe Burn mana bases, things like that. These are some things I want to try to get to delve into. Some questions people ask me regularly. So with all that said, thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure, and my name is Andrew, Day 2 Dryden, and I will see you next time.